this class is specially meant for class 6 of St. Augustine School, and this is a continuation of what we did previously. So you can turn to page number 61. We will be dealing with the lesson, the poem called Cherry Tree, written by Ruskin 1. So in today's lesson, in today's class, I will be giving you certain question and answers, which I will also be uploading it in the school website. Alright, so many of you had actually asked me what the summary that I sent you was. Okay, so it actually is a short form. I have just compiled and I have given you a brief, understanding of the poem, so that when you are trying to write down an answer to the questions, to any of the questions that is related to this poem, it's going to be easy for you to find the answer. So that's why the summary was given to you. All right. So if you don't want to, I know it's quite a lengthy note, so you don't have to copy it in your exercise books, but like if you can just, if you can get it scanned out, and if you can get a copy of it, okay, print out of it, it is well and fine. You can just keep it, or like it is always there in the website. You can always go and refer to it. So now here we are, page number 63, where we'll be answering the questions. So let's see. Now when we talk about the cherry tree, okay, we understand that the poet is trying to give us a message that we need to be strong in our lives. There will be many kind of difficulties that we may face. Like life is never rosy all the time, isn't it? So in that case, if we have to go through any kind of struggle, if we have to go through any kind of difficulties, the poet tries to tell us that no matter what kind of situation we are thrown into, we always have to come out victorious. We should never give up on anything. Just like the cherry tree, which was planted by the poet. The seed was planted by the poet, but the poet, when he planted the seed, was just a little boy. Besides watering the plant, he knew nothing about taking care of the plant. So, but then when we understand, when we plant something, we understand that it's not just water that is required. There are so many things that comes into being. Like we have to take care of it. We'll have to weed the leaves that grow around it. We'll have to make sure that it is getting proper sunlight. There's so many things that we have to take in consideration. But the poet only knew how to water the plant, how to water his plant. So in that case, besides all the uncertainties, the plant still grew up to be a sapling and then a big tree. And when it grows to be a big tree, the poet is very, very happy. So how does he celebrate when he comes back from Kashmir? When he looks at this huge 6 feet tall tree in front of his eyes, he cannot believe that it is the same cherry tree that he had planted 8 years back. So what he does is that he lays down on the grass, looks up to the cherry tree, and just keeps and he is immersed in the rapture of nature. He just enjoys nature at the moment, and then he takes pride in being able to be a part of this wonderful creation. Alright, so let's see page number 63. You will have to copy the meanings that is there in the book, in your exercise book. And besides that, now let's look at understanding the poem. Question number 2, that is, answer the following questions. Alright, A. Why did the speaker plant the cherry tree? Alright, why did the speaker plant the cherry tree? Now it's there in the summary that I've given you also. You'll find it in the notes. You'll find the answer in the notes. Well, the answer is, the speaker planted the cherry tree because he wanted to have a plant of his own. Alright, so if you cannot follow now, you might as well want to go back, scramble through the website to look for to look for the answers, which I will be providing it to you even in the WhatsApp group. Okay, but now you can just listen, so that when you can just write it on your own, I think that would be more good, like it would be better, instead of just copying and marking and learning. I think the key to understanding a poem is it's understanding. Okay, understanding, you'll have to feel, and you should be able to write down the answers effortlessly. Alright, so B, question number B, 2B says, the speaker forgot he had planted the seed, but the plant grew. Why? Why? Besides the speaker had forgotten about the plant, but the plant still grew. Why? Because the answer is time and rain nourished the plant. Alright. Besides that, the poet used to only water the plant once a day, isn't it? And even so, he had to go to Kashmir and stayed in Kashmir for many months. And when he came back, he saw a fine tree. Now, in his absence, who was taking care of the tree? So it was time and rain that nourished the plant. Okay. So C says, what unfortunate things happened to the tree? Now, what are the unfortunate things? What are the bad things that happens to the tree? Now, the answer is, the cherry tree was a small, fragile and very vulnerable to all kinds of external changes, isn't it? There were goats coming in and eating up the leaves. There were, the grass cutter who was trying to split the plant with his blade. Okay, so the answer is, the cherry tree was a small plant vulnerable to all kinds of external changes. Alright, dangers. Tall wild grass grew around it. Grass cutters split it apart mercilessly, and goats ate the leaves of the sapling tree when it was a baby plant. Okay, so that's your answer. Now, D. What happens to the speaker in Kashmir? Now, we know that the poet had to go to Kashmir. Okay, so what had happened to him? Now, he grew sickly. Sickly meaning to say that he was sick. He grew sickly and became poor in health and heart. Okay, so that is what had happened to him in Kashmir. Alright, E. Question says, why did the cherry blossoms fall at the slightest touch of the breeze? Why? Why do you think flowers, leaves fall with the slightest touch of the wind? Because it is delicate, correct? Because it is fragile, isn't it? Delicate, fragile. So here, the answer is also the cherry blossoms fall at the slightest touch of the breeze because it is delicate and fragile, just like any other flower. Alright? If. What shows that the speaker is proud of his cherry tree? Now, when he came back from Kashmir, what particular action of his shows that he was very proud of the cherry tree? Now, let's see. The poet lay on the grass whole day to look up at the cherry tree as the finches flew past. The poet enjoyed the rapture of nature. He takes pride in being a part of its creation, So that's the answer. So F, for question number F, that is the answer. So however, I will still be updating the answers in the website, but I would suggest you to please, try and understand the poem yourself before you just blindly copy the answer, and before you just blindly learn it by heart and try to write down the exact same words that I have given you here. Alright, because all the time, every time, I'm also telling the other bigger boys that in literature, you don't have to be, the answers to 2 plus 2 does not always have to be 4. Alright, there are very subjective answers to which 2 plus 2 can also add up to 6 or 8, and you can still be correct if you are able to explain how. Alright, so subjective answering, and if you can answer these questions on your own, that would be much more appreciated. Alright, so I am just trying to give you some certain guidelines so that you understand the poem and be able to write down the answers. So if you still find difficulty in understanding certain parts of what is being taught to you, we are still available to you on WhatsApp, so you can just reach to us on our personal WhatsApp numbers, or you may even call us. All right, so here we are. So with that, we have almost come to the end of the chapter, the cherry tree. And if you look at page number 64, there's reference to context. Okay, so I'll do one with you. So in which case you should be able to do the others on your own, and that you will be doing it in your exercise book. All right. So let's look at the first one, B1. And please make sure that when you're answering the questions, do not write very lengthy answers. Be subjective and write up to the point. Okay, the keywords have to be there. The keywords has to be there. Alright, for example, now I'm telling you what keywords are. Let's see. It was very small, a 5 months child, lost in the tall grass running wild. Question number A says, what does it refer to? The question is laying stress on the word it. Alright, what does it refer to? Now, it here refers to the cherry tree sapling. So that is a keyword, alright? Cherry tree sapling. It here refers to the cherry tree sapling. So that is your keyword. So you have to mainly focus on writing the keywords in your answers. Okay, so if there are no keywords, if you go scrambling around the answers but you do not write the things that is required, your answers are going to go wrong. And next thing how your answers are going to go wrong is when you have bad grammar, when you use bad grammar. Okay, so when you write something, it is not how you speak. All right, when you speak, what you speak and how you write are very different. When you write, it is going to be more formal. What you speak, we usually use very informal, words, so that when we talk, we use certain informal, we use certain informal words. So that is why writing and speaking is very different. All right. So anyway, but when you're writing down the answer, you have to write it in complete sentence, taking cue from the question. What is taking cue from the question? This is what it means. What does it refer to? It here refers to. That is taking cue from the question. You have to write it in proper sentence. It here refers to the cherry tree sapling. Alright, cherry tree sapling is your keyword. So it is put in proper grammar in a sentence. So that is how you build up an answer. Okay, do not make a lengthy answer. B. Why does the speaker compare it with a small child? Now think, why is the speaker, the poet, comparing the cherry tree sapling to a little child? Why? Think. Just as a small child needs, what do you need to grow? You need care. Yes, you need care, you need attention, and you need love to grow, isn't it? In the same way, even plants need the same thing. They need care, attention, and they need a lot of love so that they can grow into a healthy plant. If you have a plant at home, if you have a little, garden at home, you'll understand that it is not just watering the plant that is enough. It is the constant care that the plants need to grow into a healthy plant. So that is why here the poet compares it that is the cherry tree sapling, to a little child, because just as a child needs care, protection, love and attention to grow, the same way these little seedlings, these little saplings, these little plants also need all the care, love, protection and yes, care, love, protection and love, yes, okay, attention, sorry. So where was it lost? Question number C says, where was it lost? Where was it lost? Now look at the lines above in the question. It says, it was a very small 5-month child lost in the tall grass running wild. So where was it lost? It was lost in the tall grass that was growing wild around it. So that's your answer, okay? So the cherry tree sapling was lost among the tall grass that grew wild around it. Okay, so that's how you're going to answer the rest of the questions 2 and 3. Alright, so in any case, I've also told you earlier, if you have any problems in understanding and writing these answers in your exercise book, you may always contact us. We will always be there to help you. Alright, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all will do your work, you'll update your work on time, because in the next class I'll be meeting you with a new lesson. Thank you so much.